And good evening. And guess who's not here yet? I bet you can't guess. If you can guess, put it in the chat. He was 30 minutes late yesterday for his own show. So it doesn't surprise me. This was supposed to happen at 3, then it was going to happen at 4, then it happened. Then he said, well, 5 should be good, and then 6. So go figure. And everyone knows it's Wendy. They have not released the sentencing documents yet. Now, I know there's another YouTube channel that went through the recommendations, and the recommended sentence for his tax fraud was 51 months or 4.25 years. Yeah, it's over 4 years, and it's supposed to be consecutive. So when he finishes up his almost 7 years now, yeah, so sometime next decade he'll start his federal sentence, and then he got 41. Yeah, I haven't seen the documents on it. I know they recommended 51, but 41, that works. Yeah, I think Stella is way more dependable than Josh is. There's no doubt about it. But I wanted to go over a couple of things because some people have reached out wanting to get my take on the New Year's Day stuff, the terror attack in New Orleans, and the truck explosion. I'm not going to call it a bomb because it really wasn't a per se bomb, but it was an explosive event due to all the fireworks. And that's what I wanted to get Josh in here so we could talk about it. But again, as usual, as a matter of fact, should I call him? Should I get him on the phone and say, where the fuck are you? He's probably not going to answer. Let's see what his excuse is.
Hey, what's up, man?
I don't know. Where are you?
Oh, I was thinking 6 my time. I just got in. I was thinking 6 my time. I was not even thinking 6 your time. I thought you were talking to me. Yeah, I'm good, man. I'll jump on. I just got in, so I'm fine. I'll jump on you in a second.
All right, good excuse. I just played this for everybody. Oh, by the way, I'm in a two-party state, so you are being recorded. But I know you don't give a fuck. But everybody's in chat saying, "Guess who's late?" I wonder who. All right, get on. See you in a minute. There you have it. He's going to blame the time zones. He's rubbing one out. I think he probably stopped and got some more peanut butter. And Stella's going to be a friggin' diabetic with all the peanut butter she's eating. Oh, that would be my guess. But let's see how long it takes him to figure out how to get on here. It sounds like he was stuffing his face as well, which doesn't surprise me. So we got bunch. Should I do a roll call here? Got a lot of people in here. Let's see. We'll do a really quick one. Go back to the top of the list. We got Freedom Fighter. Everyone knows it's Wendy. Wingspan, Angel, Lola. G2, what's up, brother? Wingspan, Freedom Fighter, Lola. Joey, what's up, Joey? VOP, good evening. Yes, the stoned one. Woodrow. Scotto. The only respectable one on the channel? Is that what that is? Some of this shit you can't make up. Pat's Cats. That's pretty much everybody in the chat. Dirty Hippie, what's up, brother? Hope all is well. And that's about all I can stomach for a roll call. Kelly, Donald, Kittle, Nomad, Mirrors, Sherry, everybody's jumping in now. And we're still waiting on Numbnuts. Nemo, Salacious. All right, I think we're pretty much caught up. But like I said, we're waiting. But I've got some stuff I'm going to bring up on the screen. The first thing we're going to talk about is the New Orleans terrorist attack, because that's what it was. Oh, look who decided to grace our presence.
What's up? I just got in. I don't know what I was thinking. I forgot I'm on Central. Well, I didn't forget I was Central Time, but I forgot that.
I forgot you were Central Time too, so I'll cut you some slack this time.
Is that my camera?
Well, if you didn't spooge on it, well, that's what they were saying. You were rubbing one out before you came up.
No, didn't even have time. I just walked in from not hanging out with my dad, but taking my dad around. All right.
So yeah, we got a pretty good crew in here. We got almost 40 people already.
Oh, yeah, nice.
I talked a little bit about DeWitt. He got 41 months on a federal sentence.
I saw that. I just saw that. It's funny you said that. I was going to forward it to you. I didn't know if you saw it. Fraudy Internet. Yeah. I saw it on Fraudy's thing.
Yeah, I didn't even think to check Fraudy. I hadn't seen it, but they asked about it. So, and it's consecutive. So when he finishes his almost 7 years with the state, then he goes to federal. But he still has all of his insurance fraud and shit in Orange County he still has to go to.
I have not been following, so I didn't know. God, I thought they got him on that stuff already.
No, they haven't got him on that yet. He's been dealing with Osceola County, and they were supposed to have a trial or a pretrial yesterday, but I posted a thing on it, and it said he's incarcerated in another county. So they pushed it off until February. So now what they'll do is February, they'll have him transported from wherever he's at over to answer for his insurance fraud and all that shit. Because there's like 8 or 9 charges there. They're all felonies too. So that's going to.
I mean, he's going to be in jail
for a long time.
I mean, look, as he should. This is him. People like him, Kaiser. They're like, I think we over incarcerate a lot, but I don't know the answer to that. But I feel like we kind of over incarcerate. But like him, Kaiser, these dudes need to be in jail. They need to be punished because they've shown when they're outside of confinement that they will commit crimes.
Yep. You know? So what I planned on doing, talk about the January 1st stuff. We'll start off with the New Orleans truck terrorist attack, because that was clearly
right
terrorist attack. I mean, the dude's flying an ISIS flag off the back of the truck. That when it first came out, there was a lot of things that people were trying to mesh together between the two events. They were both military. They were both in Afghanistan, same time frame. But there was no connection. They both rented vehicles from the same company or
that same app.
Yeah. So, and they were both in Colorado, both from the Colorado area, I guess. But there's absolutely no connection to what transpired. But we'll talk about this first. Now I'm bringing up Wikipedia, so.
Kiddo, they were both at Bragg at some point, but they can't find anything where they would have that linked them together. But at some point, they were both at Bragg.
Yeah, and there was a lot of stuff going on too. At first, they were trying to say that this guy was an intel guy, not an intel guy.
Yeah, I couldn't find that.
No, he's not an intel guy. And as soon as this stuff broke, I went on Green Beret Chronicles. They did a show on it, and if you look at the comments, it was like, oh my god. But
Well, I was
and,
trying
and
to tell.
that was mainly dealing with the truck bomb. With this one, they didn't say a whole lot, but this guy was 82nd, 10 years in the military. We'll just go over what they've got on Wikipedia because it's pretty much up to date, and I haven't found anything that contradicts what's on here.
And I did see that the FBI has labeled it a terrorist attack now, because initially,
yeah.
Okay.
It's Shamsuddin Jabbar. He was born in Houston. There was an Islamic State flag. They say it was found in the truck, but when I saw pictures of the truck, the flagpole was sticking up out of the back of it. So I don't know if it broke off and fell in the truck or whatever, but it looked like he was flying it behind the truck. And it says there was no evidence of anything, any foreign intervention on his behalf. So we're just going to blow through some of this.
They're trying to say that these vehicle things are kind of new. We had a guy that we were tracking from Tunisia. This is fucking a long time ago. Tunisia, and we were tracking him into Germany, but once he got into the refugee camps, you can't fuck with him. Germany and Italy wouldn't let anybody fuck with anybody once they got in there. So we were like, well, okay, this is it. And then 6 months later, the guy's in France driving a truck into a fucking crowd of fucking people. And we were like,
yeah, I remember when that one happened.
Fucking there you go.
So, and some of the things that took place too, they usually put those bollards in the ground that keep people from driving down the streets when they have events, but they were being repaired for the Sugar Bowl that was coming up. So they weren't in place. So, I don't know if it was opportunistic on his part or he would have just found another way to get in. They said he was trying to run over as many people as he possibly could, which was pretty obvious. There were 14 deaths, 35 people injured. It's insane.
God damn.
It's insane.
Yeah,
he was wearing body armor, and he was firing from the truck. Two officers were wounded in the gunfight, and the officers killed him, which is good because now we don't have to spend all that money. He had an AR-10 rifle, a 308, and a Glock handgun. And he was at a Ford F-150 Lightning light-duty truck. Yeah, that Turo app is where they rented these vehicles.
Turo, yeah.
But it's just crazy. Yeah, see, they're talking here about the deployment permanent vehicle barriers known as bollards, but they had been removed and were being replaced for the Sugar Bowl. So
probably target of opportunity.
Yep.
Probably realized that's what was happening and was like, okay, there it is.
Good soft target, and he went for it.
Yep.
So 15 people, including the suspect, were killed, and 35 others injured, including 5 people who were shot. So, yeah, that's pretty nuts.
Uh-oh, don't tell Todd, but there was some Israelis there, apparently.
Was there? Oh, gee.
Yeah, that's what it is saying.
Aftermath. We're not going to go there. So this guy was 42 years old. There's a picture of him serving. That was at Fort Polk. But I do have a picture of him. Here's a picture of him from his time at Bragg. And we'll go back to the thing. So, hey, look, Todd, foreign jump wings.
So what's
the deal with the those are real ones.
What's the deal with Todd and the foreign jump wings thing? I'm not tracking on that.
Okay, so he said he had foreign jump wings.
Todd did?
Yeah, that's what he said. But come to find out, he finally let the cat out of the bag. Oh, because I was airborne, I got to wear these foreign jump wings on my OP4 uniform. So they were issued for his costume. It was costume shit. He didn't earn shit.
Same as that Gencia, that fake Gencia he showed. He's like, haha, look, I was doing this. It's like, well, really? You said you were in Afghanistan, and that's Arabic, and that's Iraqi shit. That's an Iraqi Gencia.
Yeah.
Man, he's always like, oh, like, let me see your DD-214. Like, yeah, man, because you lie a lot.
Yeah.
You fucking lie a lot. Yeah, okay, sure. You were.
Well, the thing is, we've seen his DD-214s. We've got copies of them,
right?
And he'll bring something up, but then he somehow or another sneaks away from it. So this guy did 10 years in the Army. Well, he was born in Texas. Damn it.
Well, check it out. Protestant. Right?
Yeah.
Baptist Protestants.
Baptist. But changed over to Muslim at some point. They say he was a Muslim for most of his life.
Father Comfort is born in Houston, changed his surname to Young to Jabbar. Mother
didn't have shit for a criminal history. A misdemeanor theft in 2005, or correction, 2002, and 2005 invalid license, and he had a OUI at Bragg. Most likely that's why he got out.
Yeah,
especially from the OUI, because he was a staff sergeant, and he looked like he was pretty squared away in his uniform. Looked like airborne, foreign jump wings. Had ARCOMs, Army Achievement Medals, Good Conduct Medals, and then and he's Muslim, but he had an OUI.
That's a good.
How devout of a Muslim was he? Makes you wonder.
I mean, this guy seems to have a bunch of confusion.
Yeah, and here it is. Here it says he was human resource specialist and an information technology specialist. So he was an IT guy and a clerk and jerk.
Oh shit! He was in Afghanistan when Todd was. Wasn't Todd in there during 2009?
I think so.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
So this guy left active duty in 2015. Went to college, partied, lost a scholarship, and some other stuff.
He left active duty and went into the reserve in 2020. Maybe I didn't push him out. I mean, maybe
they might have pushed him out, and he took the option to go in the go in the reserve. It was kind of coincidental that he had an OUI and then he wasn't in the active duty anymore. So the reserve would have given him a waiver for that. Just to get bodies.
Just to get bodies,
and being in clerical or IT could pretty much go anywhere. So he'd been divorced 3 times, had financial problems. So he was divorced in 2012. He married again in 13 to 16, divorced again, married a 3rd time in 17, lasted to 22.
I was about to say he must have gotten he works for the Deloitte. And that's, you can't be well, you can be, but Deloitte is pretty I mean, prestigious is the wrong word, but they don't just take anybody. You got to be
And he specialized in government and public services, and he was making $120 a year. So that's not bad. That's not chump change. It's probably double what it's more than double what he was making in the military.
Yeah. Just depends on where he's at, how far that 120 goes.
And then the husband of one of his ex-wives said he had been behaving unpredictably in the months before the attack. So I don't think I don't think he radicalized during his military service. I think it's just It's what went on afterwards.
I mean, look at the way. I mean, look, I don't want to make this about
Thank you.
toddler, but it is when we were showing his talk. You can, when you're like, hey man, this, you can self-radicalize when you
Yes.
really are into the YouTube or into whatever, and you're not really dealing with real life a lot. Like, you can really start going down some, if you're prone to that.
Well, it says here he traveled to Egypt alone in 2023.
Oh, DeWitt.
And he spent and he spent about a month in the country. So Egypt's kind of a hotbed for that kind of stuff.
Yep.
You would know better than me. That's why I wanted you on here.
No, it is. I mean, well, North Africa in general is a free for all. And so you have a lot of factors. Even if you go into Egypt, you're dealing probably with a lot of groups operating within Libya and some other places. I can't imagine it's classified. I just don't want to get into where and how or whatever. But like, even though it's fucking 6-7 years ago that I looked, my information is old. But yeah, there's a lot of fuckers operating in North Africa. A lot of bad dudes, and a lot of where they went is Africa, because they're not really. I mean, for a while there, they were being hunted in Africa big time. Us and the French were fucking getting at it there for sure. And they were causing problems for them. But I think that kind of subsided, and then they went to friendly countries where they could just sort of operate unimpeded.
So they also found a couple of pipe bombs in coolers on Bourbon Street with remote detonators, and they found the actual other half of the detonator in his truck. Crazy.
Well, that's the other. So that's the other thing with this. You'd have to look. I'm not saying this is. I'm not smart on all of this. So I everybody listening, just I'm taking it for what. But there's a chance he got taught all that. He's not coming from an MOS that would, right? It's not like the Vegas guy. He's not coming from a job that would have IED, how to make them, how to do it, experience. Obviously, you can look that shit up on the internet. But when you're in Egypt for a month and you've already been radicalized, and you're kind of just, you're looking for a purpose, he's probably selling himself down there. In the sense of like, hey man, I'm an American. What do you want me to do? I'm American on your shit. Like, they probably treated him. They probably gave him training. Was like, let's see what you can do. I mean, because a lot of times they'll, that's how they'll do it. You have to not just like, hey, you're okay, cool, you're ISIS. You're saying something. It's like, you're gonna get tested. I mean, maybe that's, they taught him. They sit down. You could teach somebody easy. I feel like in a month to do this kind of thing. How to scope it out, how to figure it out, how to look for targets of opportunity, and then how to exploit those targets of opportunity. Now, again, I mean, but he was an IT and HRC guy. I mean, maybe, or HR, guy. But he was a brag, who knows? I'm sure hopefully they'll figure some of it out, but
I don't know if anybody will ever get access to him. I guess he made a couple of videos on his drive from Texas to New Orleans.
I mean, they could have
stuff.
I mean, I obviously wasn't FBI, so I can't speak for the FBI, but my experience is that they would use, if FBI's the dude's dead, so it's going to be hard to track down where. I mean, they could have the embassy in the Legat office, an FBI detachment there or whatever, to maybe try and track down. Maybe have analysts start humenters, hey, put it out as a collection requirement. Hey, man, if any of your guys in Egypt or whatever know anything about what this dude did, that's a priority. That's a priority collection requirement. Potentially. I don't know what they're doing. I'm just talking about from my, my way we did. Maybe it's different now, 6 years, 7 years on the road. whatever it is. But
It's been longer for me. I mean, I retired in 2011.
Yeah, 2018.
But,
so yeah, it's going on 7 years. So
and there's other things too. Like he was staying at an Airbnb, lit the place on fire. It's probably where he made the bombs and was trying to cover that up.
Good call.
Yeah, just really crazy that homegrown terrorist.
Damn, he placed accelerants in multiple rooms. This guy was fucking motivated.
But it burned itself out before reaching the accelerants in the house.
So what it kind of shows, again, this is a snap assessment, so could potentially be wrong, but it kind of has the view of somebody that got some kind of training, whether that's he looked it up himself and he's a smart guy and he figured it out, or someone was teaching him something and he's not proficient in what he was doing. And so I
think that would be more in line, not being proficient in what he was taught, because from 2003 on, the IEDs kept getting better and better and better and more sophisticated, and then they had the EFPs, and I mean, it just the progression, and
well, the IRGC
30 days in Egypt, I don't know how much shit he blew up there, probably nothing. But
I mean, here's the other thing. I mean, another thing too is hopefully Heavy Dick doesn't hear. I always blame the Iranians. I mean, there could be a third party that's claiming, I mean, they, false flag. Hey, we're ISIS. We're going to fucking train you on this shit. IEDs and all that kind of crap. That's not just ISIS. IRGC dudes like that. The Quds Force dudes like that shit too. And so they're the ones that introduced the EFPs into the fucking mix in a big bad way.
They were nasty.
So it could be, and Quds Force is operating pretty heavy in Northern Africa. There's a lot. So even if he wasn't, he may have thought he was being ISIS. I mean, that could be a case too. And then a third party, a third country. I mean, there's plenty of people, not just Iran, that wants Americans dead, but somebody could have taught him and told him he was ISIS, because ISIS is the big flag, kind of the big cool flag. I mean, there's a lot. That month in Egypt turns this kind of interesting to me. I would really want to track down, if this was my thing, I would really want to track down. I'd run down as best I could that time in Egypt.
There's not a whole lot about this guy that was taken into custody at his house in North Houston.
Oh, do you have like a roommate or something, maybe? Or just a dude
maybe there? But I haven't been able to find any additional on that.
Well, if someone was at his house, I would say, again, all of this is snap judgment. I'm just telling you what I think here. I don't know if I'm wrong a lot. So, but to me, someone at his house who's caught at his house is not somebody who's training him. That's not like his handler or something like that. Because that dude would be gone. That guy would be out.
Most likely a roommate that went, yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, like he was weird, but we kind of kept our separate ways. Or Woodrow, Iranians SV, really? Have you overlooked the Protestants or Lebanese? Well, I mean, the Israelis are there too, but I thought they trained them for this. But there's a lot of people operating in Africa, and so the chance for him, why did he go to Egypt? Why Egypt? So they'll probably track down who
an easy country to get into.
Easy to get into. Likely somebody he was talking to said, "Hey, come on to Egypt, hang out." Even if nothing else, not even saying like terrorist shit, but like, "Hey, come to Egypt, hang out. If this is what you're into, we'll show you what it's like here." I mean, you got to think about how these guys would recruit a guy like this. But again, once you self-radicalize, it's pretty easy for any of these dudes to sort of pick you up and wind you up and send you on the way.
Well, it seems, like I said, the OUI, Most likely why he ended up out of the Army. Even if he stayed, I mean, promotion to 7 was going to be almost impossible.
Right.
with
That
on
Dewey's
his
going to
record.
fuck you. That Dewey's going to fuck you
Yeah.
up.
And
Kiddo's question is, but don't terrorist groups like to take credit for what they do? I mean, technically, ISIS is kind of, but, you know, and again, but I got to say, somebody else's experience may be different. I can't remember ISIS really. ISIS is usually pretty good about, this was us. No, that wasn't us. But they don't have to. I mean, the thing is, if it's some group, if it's a third party, not ISIS, not the internet, some third party that radicalized them and taught them this shit, they don't care. They just want to see the bodies. They're
that's
not.
it.
Yeah, they just want
That's
to
all
see
they
the
want to see.
bodies. Yeah.
They don't care about him or his family or anything else. They just stroke him however they need to get him to do their bidding.
Yeah.
Whether
Hey,
he was, they're saying there was no foreign influence, but he spent 30 days in Egypt and then came back, and he was boozing it and partying it after he got out of the military and lost his scholarship, and then all of a sudden he embraces Islam and talks about no alcohol, no weed, no this, no that. So
I mean, he just feels like a lost soul, and a lost soul who gets himself radicalized, on the internet and starts looking for it.
yeah, I just want to shout out to Fraudy International Operations.
Yeah,
he's
Brody.
got the current poop scoop on our biggest pile of shit, Jeremy DeWitt. So
the internet's #1 convicted felon in stolen valor fraud.
Yeah,
Kaiser, you're not even the winner in that.
Yeah, Kaiser doesn't hold a candle to him, but he's a strong #2.
Very strong #2. I just think he's just not quite as known.
Yep, he's a #2 if you have to really grunt hard to get it out,
Woodrow's talking about my sweatshirt says spy. It's a spy. It's the International Spy Museum in DC. If you're ever up there, the museum's cool as fuck. I actually worked there for like a year. It was cool. It's a very cool museum.
Did you ever go through Did you ever go through Checkpoint Charlie Museum?
Mm-mm.
I went through that. That was pretty amazing. Because they had a lot of spy shit in there too.
So they got what the Spy Museum has now. They have a whole Checkpoint Charlie section. It's like
I can guarantee you where that came from.
Yeah, probably so. And so like they have a lot of the Stasi stuff. They got a fuck ton of very cool. Hey, these were operational espionage tools, and being DC, and there's a lot of former CIA and all that kind of shit, former intel people, supporting it. I do have contention with some of their exhibits. I think one of the guys that first of all, they really pushed this dude, Malcolm Nance, who's been kind of a fabricator. And they feature him pretty prominently. I won't go into all the stuff, why it's wrong, and then they also, this dude, Morton Storm, whose book I read, claims he was a CIA asset, which he was. And because he recorded his termination meeting with his handler, and it was actually well, first of all, it's a huge no-no, but he was trying to extort them, basically. He was like, I need more money. You're supposed to give me this money. And he's like, and the handler handled the termination termination, meet fucking great. It was a really master class in how to deal with somebody like that. And, but he thought that he deserved the credit for the Al Amriki hit. And, the CIA saying no, it was somebody else. And there's just a lot in his story that just sounds like bullshit, but it's very cool. It's still very cool. Those are just a couple of
Yeah,
things.
I'm feeling some hate here for some reason.
So with the Vegas guy, it was
So
interesting.
let's get into that.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up. It's my channel.
Do it.
Let's get into the Vegas one, because this one I had already made a comment. Green Beret Chronicles had a video out like immediately, quick. And I get in there and I made a comment. I said, sounds like somebody who is having some family issues at home, and that's what happened. And shortly after that, but I didn't know this. This guy was on a History Channel special for Special Forces competition, and guess who he was with?
Tim motherfucking Kennedy. I don't
Tim
have
motherfucking Embellisher Kennedy. And they won the competition. And I didn't know that. So before we get into looking at this stuff too intently, just a little bit of background. So he graduated high school in 2005, went in the Army as an 18 X-ray. Now, 18 X-ray is an enlistment contract to be put directly into the pipeline for Special Forces. So he was guaranteed basic AIT jump school selection. If he made it through selection, then he continued on. But that was his enlistment contract. And I can't even imagine what the fail rate is for guys that join as 18 X-rays, because I don't think they really know what they're getting into. Now, this kid was like a big time athlete, really super physically fit. And he made it right through. 19 years in Special Forces, his entire military career.
He was a team daddy.
Yep. He was a team daddy as well, and had been for a bit. So he was living in Colorado with his current wife. The only bad thing is if I like hover over something, all this shit pops up.
Yeah, G2 is right too. He made it through the Fox 18 Fox. That's so he was for you guys.
I thought he was an Echo.
Well, Fox.
I thought they said
if he could have started as an Echo, but Fox is a non-primary. You have to be in it because you're the. Hey, hold on a sec.
Well, he was a 18 Zulu, which is a team daddy.
Yeah, sorry, looked like she was like choking on something.
Would you stop feeding her peanut butter while you're sitting there?
I know.
There's nothing big enough to choke on.
But you can be a Zulu and a Fox. I mean, usually a Fox is the. But the point is, he is an operations specialist. He is a tactical combat specialist. He knows everybody's fucking job. Hey, what's up? Right, son. He knows everybody's fucking job on the team. He's the intel guy. If he was a Fox, that means he spent time as an intel guy. The intel guys, the Foxes have, along with the Deltas, probably have the most busiest job, because you have a job to do. Then you got this. Then you got another whole nother set of things, something to do. And the Foxes, I mean, because we worked with a bunch of those dudes, and our whole thing was like, tell me what I can do to take shit off your plate, like, because they got so much shit going on. But yeah, he's a smart.
We had very limited work with them in Iraq. We did work with the ODA team that was there. They were from the Florida Guard, I believe. It might have been 20th Group. Yeah. And we worked with them a lot because 06, 07, they pretty much had their wings clipped, and every mission they went out on, they had to take Iraqi police. We were in charge of all the Iraqi police, so I would always have a squad meeting up with ODA, picking up the Iraqi police. Would let the Iraqi police kick the door, catch the bullets, and then we go in. Well, that's just the way it was. I mean, that's
what was the Iraqi police element that was like wolf pack or wolf or something? Was that a thing, or is that just maybe in my area?
it might have been in your area. We had what the hell did they call them? Or QRBs, quick reaction battalions. We had 2 of them, and my platoon was in charge of training up those 2. I say a battalion. They probably had 30 or 40 guys at each one, and it was kind of like training cats.
Oh yeah, if Hippie was up here, he'd tell you because he lived with those dudes, and loved them. But yeah, same. I mean, you know how it is. They're kind of nuts. Like half the time you're working with him, you're like, take your fucking finger off the trigger. Stop putting your finger on the fucking trigger.
Yeah,
when you're ready to shoot, man. Oh, that shit bothered me all the time, man, with those kind of guys being around the ING or whatever. What did they call it? The Iraqi Army, the Iraqi National Guard, Wolf Brigade. Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah, these guys did know. Yeah, I went out with them once. They were fucking nuts, dude. They were like supposed to be like an elite, like a step up, and yeah, they were intense, and they were all about sharing information, and they were all about fucking Sunnis up. God damn it, she is.
So this kind of like falls in line with.
I gotta hold on, or you can talk. She's like going nuts over here, choking on something. Hold on, sorry.
All right, well, go stick your finger in her butt and get her to cough it out. This pretty much falls in line with some of the stuff that G2's been covering in regards to PTSD. So he was involved in some type of a group thing in Germany. They allowed him to go on leave. And I guess while he was home on leave for Christmas, his wife gave him the boot because of his infidelities. There's a bunch of stuff out there where he was talking with his girlfriend, but it just seems like he kind of went downhill really quick. So we'll move on. It said he had a couple of emails, a manifesto that he sent to a retired Army intelligence officer. And it had to do with now the conspiracy people are going fucking cuckoo. They're saying this doesn't smell right. Could you read into it? Yes. Was this guy fucking John Wick or 007? No. He's a tactical special forces team sergeant. Okay. All that higher up shit, they were talking about Chinese drones and all this other shit. But it had to do with some airstrikes and how the U.S. kind of airstrikes on drug facilities. And yeah, they were not lawful targets. So, and this has to do with your rules of engagement and how tight everything was locked down with rules of engagement. So that was one of the things that was really perplexing to him, I guess, because he sent this manifesto out and this was really bothering him a lot. There were I guess there were quite a few civilian casualties, or a lot of civilian casualties. But this was dealing with a couple of different airstrikes that they called in on drug facilities. So he definitely, and like I said, this kind of goes along with the G2 stuff where he's been going over like PTSD and stuff. And actually, you know what? G2, if I throw this in here, can you come up?
One of the
Fuck's my mouse.
I mean, that's what my dad, talking to my dad today, we're just kind of talking. I was saying how I was coming on here to talk about this. And he was like, yeah, my understanding is that it was PTSD. And I was like, well, probably to some degree, but I hate when PTSD gets used for this, because not everybody is going to go blow up a truck and kill themselves over it.
And when you get into it and you see what they laid out, he had a shitload of, heavy duty fireworks. What I immediately picked out, there was a 5-gallon can of VP race gas, the same shit I use on my race bike, a bunch of cans of Coleman fuel.
So that's another thing that, and in case I missed it while I was cleaning that shit up.
Hey, howdy, hey.
What's up, man?
What's going on?
If
you've been going over this the PTSD stuff a lot, and I find it very informative, if nothing else. So that's why I wanted to bring you up, because you've been dealing with this and talking about it. And it seems like he really had a lot of demons going on.
Yeah, I think TBI and PTS mix. I mean, you think about the through and through TBIs, flashbangs, close in stuff. The through and throughs are really bad.
What does the through and through mean? What do you mean by that?
Because you're just taking the shock wave. Yeah, the concussion of the blast.
Yeah.
And you're not taking direct.
Gotcha.
And no telling how many jumps you rack your noggin, right? I know I had him. He was a Halo guy too, right?
He was a Halo guy. He was airborne.
That's a little easier on you than 17 feet a second. Halo.
Yeah. Donald Gehrman. Yeah, I agree. What I was telling my dad was, and again, this isn't, I just my experience, right? So I'm not saying this for there are some new anxieties it's given me, and paranoia is not really specifically one, but there's this constant, like, people are out to kill me. And what I was telling him is, a lot of times what PTSD does for me is it takes my governor off. And so something that would be a regular everyday annoyance or something can turn into a spin out. And so I just don't like when people are like PTSD, and it's like, probably.
Well, he had that going
clearly,
on.
I think
he was really having a hard time coming to grips with those airstrikes, the TBI, his old lady kicking him out.
Yeah.
It's a confluence of things that
the perfect storm. I mean, that's the best way to say it.
And
the
then
perfect storm.
And then there's the boom that he planned. That was not at all a bomb.
That was for show.
That was that was just to say, hey, it was either to cover up him self-deleting. I mean, because everything was just dramatic. A Desert Eagle to shoot yourself with. Oops.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't know.
It was just this theatrical thing, and he was an intel guy, right?
That's what it was.
Yeah,
because look at it. If you look at it this way, special forces guy kills himself. Do you see that in the news anywhere? No. 22. What's the current number?
22. Why was it? Oh, it's like almost double that.
Yeah. The Special Operations Association.
How many do you see in the news?
None.
He knew what he was doing.
Yeah, and they said in the real thing, the email that he sent, he did say that America needs to wake up. Well, wake up from what? I don't remember any clarity on that. But that whole diversion on Sean Ryan thing, the dude even said he made that shit up. So,
yeah. Well, the conspiracy comments when this first happened were,
yeah,
I was like, do these
Just
fucking
out
people
there.
breathe oxygen, or are they just breathing carbon monoxide?
You know what?
Because
You know what's interesting
some
is
of the shit they were talking about, these infrared Chinese drones, and he was a whistleblower on them because, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I mean, they were just like way out there.
Go ahead, Josh, and I'll go with my statement
I was
after.
just going to say the paranoia of being under surveillance, though, is also with a dude. He was a AOG guy, an Army Operations Group dude, who's a source handler, and he came back and was telling anybody and everybody about how he was being surveilled by the Russians. And I wonder,
Get the paranoia.
I think it's probably just well, first of all, him and the handler and this SF dude would be familiar with surveillance and surveillance detection routes and all this shit.
Yeah.
They would be familiar. And both of them, being in the high stakes shit they were in, probably had to implement some of it, I can imagine. It's interesting to me, though, to see that same level of paranoia that I'm under surveillance. Because one of the things they would do for us with the surveillance thing is like, you see ghosts. They're like, don't see ghosts. Make sure it's this. They're doing. I'm not going to say on here what the criteria is, but there's certain criteria. Make sure they meet this criteria, because you can see ghosts, they call it, all the fucking time. And if your brain's fucked up, you're just going to start seeing ghosts everywhere.
Right. And he was 10th group guy. And so.
Well, if he was Fox,
Russian
he was probably
surveillance.
ASO. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. How long was he a team sergeant top?
I don't know, but he's 19 years. I'm guessing he's probably been a team sergeant for quite a bit.
Yeah, I'd be interested in the because he was a echo, so he's a communications guy, which is highly sensitive stuff, which would include SIGINT. I mean, he would be collecting as well as sending. And then he went I&O, and dude, he would be a target for anywhere he operated.
That is true. Yeah,
because he holds him and the 180 Alpha are going to be the guys. I mean, even the freaking commander is not going to know what they know. He's just the admin tool.
Yep.
And if he was into ASO stuff, I mean, and it's Germany. They had an SF guy. The Russians did recruit, like not that long ago, had recruited an SF dude. So he may be right. I mean, the truth is he may be fucking right. Maybe they were really surveilling him.
But again, he had that mixed with moral injury, PTSD, TBI, and those things are this part of it.
Yeah.
The divorce and his girlfriend, I think he had been married before, right?
Yeah.
I think he'd twice married and was cheating on his current wife.
Yeah, and he was cheating on the other one too when he got divorced. So
Yeah.
he couldn't keep his dick in his pants. But
right.
What Green
That's
Beret
a common problem. Yeah, I was gonna say with those guys.
They're alpha males extraordinaire, and
and you're wound so tight in your everyday job that you have impulsive behavior.
Yeah.
Often outside of that. And it's a way to let loose, to like, I'm breaking the rules, kind of thing.
Yeah. But I mean, the whole Vegas thing was definitely a theatrical event that he put on. I individually know, I mean, an individual can be a terrorist, so they can call it a terrorist attack. I don't know if they have officially or not.
No, they
But
haven't.
I don't think they will. Think
They haven't
this is-
officially. I don't think they will either. I think it's going to
But-
be.
Mate, I don't know. I mean, do you hope that his death brings more light on veterans' mental health and brain health as far as TBIs go, or what? I don't know. But
Well, it just shows even your top tier guys can have that mental breakdown. You know?
Yeah.
Listen, and they work these fuckers. They run them into the ground. They
Yeah.
will
Yeah.
run an operator. They'll, as long as that guy's saying send me or I'll go, they will let him go until, you know. I mean, I think that we are just at the beginning of seeing some of the ramifications, I believe, on how we deployed, how we kept sending dudes. 20 years of war is a long fucking time.
yeah, that's exactly what I'm going over.
Oh,
like just started four days ago. Is what it's a book called What Have We Done? I forget the subtitle, but it's about the America's longest wars, obviously Afghanistan and Iraq.
So he had 2 tours in Afghanistan, but when he joined, he knew he was going to war.
Oh yeah,
He came in.
Yeah,
He came in on the 18 X-ray in 2005, 2006. He would have been in school. He knew he was going at some point. I mean, that was like right in the middle of the hotbed, especially in Iraq, 2005, 6, 7, 8, that time frame. That was the fucking wild west.
Yeah, you're getting out of the Q course and freaking gearing up on B team and doing your support rotation. So hippie, you're crazy, man.
I know. That's why I love hippie.
You would have been a target for somebody to recruit you. That's for sure. Give you $5,000 and 5 cases of booze.
I was just about to say, I would find him. I'm not saying that sounds terrible to say, but like if you saw that, because a lot of times they're thinking like, oh, go for the high guy. A lot of times it's no, get the janitor, get the E4 who's. Mm-hmm. I mean, look who a lot of them went after when they try and recruit the Bradley Manning, these kind of guys. It's often the low level guys with a lot of access.
Yeah.
Hippie, you weren't one of those guys that had to rub one out while you were out on mission, are you?
Get a combat jacket.
I think every unit's got one of those guys.
Get that adrenaline flowing, got to rub it out.
Fuck it.
Been
backed up. Hey, Wyatt.
What's going on? Anybody got any questions about what we kind of want to? I just wanted to let you know what our thinking was on it. And it's great to have G2 on here because he's really been diving into the PTSD stuff and explaining a lot of it. I've been learning a lot from listening to what some of his shows have been. So make sure you go over there and see the professor.
Thank you.
See the professor.
That's a
you're either going to enjoy it or you'll fall asleep because he does a lot of talking.
Yeah, that's a Woodrow nickname. He's always handing out nicknames. Hey, Nomad.
Yeah.
Oh, the moral
Nomad's
injury.
The thumbnail man.
Moral Injury of Our Longest Wars by David Wood.
Yeah.
My difficulty with the moral injury, and I don't know, maybe listening to your thing, I don't feel like I have moral injury. I don't feel
some
like
people don't. It doesn't affect everybody. I mean,
I don't feel as though I have any effects from any of my time overseas.
yeah.
I mean, my thing is just the constant
And I,
fucking
you know,
paranoia.
when I start to really start thinking about it and all the shit that we saw and did, and we were required to take every engagement we were in because we were having problems with weapons disappearing from the IPs, ammunition disappearing from the IPs. I mean, I get ready to go on a raid and we'd do an inspection on the guys, and I'd be like, you know, let me see your handgun, and it'd be empty.
Shit.
It wouldn't have a single fucking bullet in it. Oh, you give me bullet, mister? Yeah, I'm gonna give you one in the fucking head if you keep giving them to the bad guys. But the cartridges,
What are they're giving them 15 at a time?
well, we'd give them a box of 50
Oh, okay. Well, 50 at a time.
and gone. And I had cases and cases of ammunition just for them because it wasn't the same as what we used.
Right. Oh, okay.
The casings were a different color. We used to give them AK rounds as well. And the brass was,
Okay.
it wasn't brass. It was like a dull color.
Mhm.
And that
Is
way
that
we'd
steel?
know. That way we would know if the bad guys are shooting at us. Well, it could have been the IPs, you know, IP by day, ISIS at night.
Yeah.
Or
That way we
vigilante
could tell.
at night too. They were doing
Anytime
that.
we would go out and get engaged or get in any kind of shit, we'd take pictures of everything. So,
Yeah.
you know, I just go back and look through the pictures, and that kind of
Is
grounds.
that why you rigged up your video camera to help account after action reviews and stuff?
Yeah, and it never really worked out that well because it was. I still got the camera here.
Yeah, you showed it to me before.
Yeah, it's a gray Sony Handycam.
Yeah.
And I had a little cigarette camera and a mount on the side of my helmet. This was before GoPros.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
and I
didn't
only
have any. We had the little Sonys,
Yep.
you know,
Thing. I
And
just
they-
would have it.
stole our cards from us when we'd come back to the freaking talk.
Well, mine used the mini DV tapes.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah, I had the little SIM card, and I would just have my ATL. I'd have the gunner take all the pictures and do all that shit. But it is funny when you go back through and watch videos of a gunfight or something like that. It is chaos. It's a lot of chaos, especially at first. It often mellows out. It often kind of stabilizes out. Like maybe there's still fighting going on, but the kind of initial fucking thing.
Well, Hippie, I will say, and those who watch my stuff, when I get upset is when I'm thinking about back home and us going away and our kids growing up and stuff like that. And that is part of the moral injury.
I didn't think about that. That fucks me up. I gotta admit,
it does me too. I was
man.
bawling the other day because of the way this guy writes and that he wrote about people leaving behind and, you know, funerals and pregnancies. And it reminded me one time I had a soldier was having twins and I was like, fuck this. You're going to send him home, period. And they fought me, but I got him home so he could see the birth of his twins. But
I did not think about that at all. But God, that is a painful aspect. Just if we're admitting it. But like it's probably the most pain. It's the thing that will choke me up if I think about God, man. Because it feels the truth is it feels selfish to me. Like when I think about it, I'm like, man, I wanted it so bad and would keep going. And after my first deployment, my dad was like, all right, you done with the cowboy shit? And I'm like, no. And he's like, you're married now. Kids, you know, I don't think I had a kid quite at that point, but
you fucking hate it when you're there and you hate that you're not there.
Yeah.
And And I had access. I had a sat phone. So when anything happened, I got called, and I'm just freaking, you just come out of a firefight or something, and you're fucking just your kids crying, wanting to see you, and
Oh, I came home on mid tour. I came straight off a mission. I was standing off to the side of our ASV, which is a 4-wheeled armored car thing with a turret, and they were just dumping ammo boxes of 50 cal through the turret, and I was standing there, so I'm like covered in all of the residue from that. We got back from mission. They told me to get over to Diamondback to get on a plane to go on my 2-week mid tour. I was the last guy in my platoon to go because I was the platoon sergeant.
Yeah.
And I got to Atlanta, and I made the mistake of going outside the secure area and had to go back through security. And they put me in one of those sniffer machines.
Oh.
And I told the guy, I said, don't put me in there. I said, what are you talking about? I said, you put me in there, that machine's going to go fucking nuts.
Yep.
And it went fucking nuts. I mean, they did everything but strip search me. Like,
I broke the one that it happened to me at Yuma, Arizona. I broke their machine.
I was like, dude, less than 24 hours ago, I was in the streets of Mosul in a gunfight.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I said. When I was at Heathrow, I was like, they're like, well, it's RDX. I tested positive for RDX. And I was like, look, I'm coming from Afghanistan. And at this point, I was trying to go home. And my shit had already been delayed to get home. This is like at the end of a tour. And I was like, all right, I'm not really supposed to be showing you guys these cards and IDs. But I'm like, look, this is backing up my story. I just want to get home. And they had, because I got pulled over I've told the story a million times of Dubai. But yeah, Heathrow was, because I was like, oh, I can finally have alcohol. I'm going to have a couple of drinks before, and I'm going to fall asleep on the plane. I'll wake up in fucking Dallas. And so I had cracked back 2 Coronas and 2 tequilas. And I was like feeling happy, nice and fucking warm. And I'm standing in line, and they pulled me out. And I was like, fuck. And then they held me long enough that I missed that flight. They're like, we'll put you on another one. And fuck, man. I mean, they were ultimately cool about it, truthfully.
Yeah.
But,
I had to go back to, I had left Kabul in 2010. And this was when I was doing
things.
DOD stuff as, but and then I had to go do some stuff in Israel. So I went there, and I get pulled to the side and sat in a room forever. I'm like, fuck, I'm a citizen here, but they were fucking letting into me, carrying through everything. So traveling back then was not fun at all.
Dude, coming back from the invasion, I was in 1st Recon Battalion then, and we get into BWI. We're Pendleton based. So we get into BWI, and they're like,
y'all are doing the big cap flights.
Yeah. And they're like, okay, we're just going to release you. Like, you got whatever, 2 hours. Dudes went out and smoked. Some dudes grabbed beers, whatever the fuck. And we're all in uniform, though. We're all in camis. And so, like, they made all of us go through security. And of course, and this was not sniffer time. This was like, but
right.
You've got knives on, whatever the fuck. They're just your shit. And oh my God, guys were getting fucking pissed. One dude dropped his pants and walked through fucking. It was fucking great.
Like Marines.
It was
going through security when you're carrying your weapons.
Yeah,
it's like, really, what is the fucking need in this? We flew on Coletta Airlines going over originally. It was just a charter flight. So it was nothing but military on it. And that was pretty easy. But the commercial flights, that was a pain in the ass. That and the assholes in customs coming back. A bunch of Navy guys doing customs, and they were taking fucking everything that you had. I had a bullet that was all bent up, my lucky bullet, and they fucking took it away from me. I was like, you prick. I carried that around with me.
Oh, Kuwaitis were horrible, man.
Fuck, dude. You couldn't get shit through.
Dang. Oh man,
What I should have done was I should have
there.
packed it and shipped it. I shipped a bunch of shit home, but
Hippie's in here. We had some dudes from the unit try and ship some shit home. Sort of. They stuffed a Connex box full of fucking weapons and shit. not issued weapons.
well, guys, I appreciate you coming up and on over an hour.
Man.
I always keep mine at an hour. Try to anyway.
Perfect.
But,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go watch the hockey game anyway. Perfect.
It's always enjoyable to have you two up here and chat.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to touch base because some people have reached out, and I mean that's pretty much my take on it.
I can't disagree with it. The only thing is I found weird was when they let that reporter just walk through the dude's house.
Yeah,
There was nothing taped off.
I didn't know that.
A perfectly laid out. I mean, that was weird to me, but whatever.
I would say if people are thinking about
It's
this,
modern day FBI shit.
I think you could probably. My take is you can take the SF dude in that situation is pretty much face value. I mean, there's going to be things. But I mean, meaning self-inflicted. He was out of his mind clearly. And something was fucking going on. The paranoia. I mean, and again, we've talked about it. He may not be wrong, but I'm telling you, when you are actively operating as if you are under surveillance, and by the way, you're supposed to be operating that way. You're supposed to be operating that you're being watched.
When you're still active, absolutely.
Yeah. And it is, it bears on you. I mean, it can be a thing where you're not really tracking that. You're essentially under pressure 24/7. And so like you feel it and you feel like you're supposed to be, and they push it. I mean, I wasn't SF obviously, but on the human side, they were like, if you're not in this for fucking, when you get into the advanced shit, they're like, if you're not in this for a lifestyle, this is a lifestyle. And if you're not in it for that and you're not willing to do that, then you're in the wrong fucking place. Yeah. And because you got to operate like you're live 24/7, and that shit fucks you up. So my take, you guys may feel different, but my take is the SF thing, you could probably take pretty straightforward. But I am now interested in the Egypt piece and what that guy did, what was going on with that. So,
yeah, I'm sure there's going to be more that comes out.
And the guy that they arrested, that's weird too, that they're releasing all this other stuff.
There's more to it. I think they're going to end up with some type of a connection to ISIS before it's all said and done. They've already come out and said they haven't found one yet.
Yeah, but, I mean, whether it's the lowest of levels, I mean, he could, like I said, he could have self-radicalized and then moved into some low level, and he had a perfect target. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, that's all right, guys. I appreciate it. Everybody, don't forget, go watch G2. Go watch our resident stoner when he's on. But G2's got some really good stuff he's been doing, and it's very informative, very enlightening as well.
Thank you.
And
Shiz has 8:30.
Shiz got to take a what at 8:30?
She has an 8:30 live, so
she's going live like every day right up until the 2nd of February, isn't she?
I mean, she's putting that pressure. She is all up in Kaiser's OODA loop right now.
His OODA loop is
fucking his world up, man.
All right, guys. We'll see you.
See y'all. Bye.